All right, back again, everybody, on OpenLine on a Thursday night. Flying by already, but we got a lot to get to. 737+, if you'd like to call in, we'll go right back to the phones. Kevin Kennedy is our guest, taking your calls, and Buddy is up next. Hey, Buddy. Oh, Betty, I'm sorry. I said it wrong. Go ahead, Betty.
Can you hear us, Betty?
This is John.
Okay.
John, hold on. Let me get, hold on. New call, there I go. How about this one? Is this Betty?
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Good
Betty.
to talk to you, Betty. Go ahead with your question.
Yes. Me and my husband both is over 80 years old.
Okay.
And we wonder if there's anything that we can do if one of us has to go to a nursing home to keep them from taking everything.
Yep.
Sounds like Lee, our first caller.
It sure does. Yeah. And you know what? The truth of the matter, it's going to march on all of us. Mm-hmm. It's going to come on us, and so you're going to have to deal. And everybody's got family members that you're going to have to deal with. So what's my best advice? I want you to talk to someone privately. Let's find out, is the house paid for? Can we work? And here's the number one. You know, I've represented many multimillionaires. And you know what the question is? I'd say, well, can we move some of this? Can we do? And they say, Kev, I can't trust them. Oh, my. So why don't we live a life of building relationships and looking after, because it really does get to who can we trust, because there's a lot of options that we can explore if we don't have that, and we don't have children, we don't have loved ones, we don't have responsible, then we have a different plan. We need to just talk about your circumstances privately, but you've identified the issue, don't let it wait, move on it.
Thank you, Betty.
Thank you, Betty, for calling.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, 737+. We'll go back. All right, Don on line 2. Let's see if I can figure out these phones.
You're doing good.
All right, here we go. Hey, Don, go ahead. You there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay,
right,
Don.
Go ahead.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Great.
Well, thank you.
Well, I live in 28 Shepherd Street. For 5 years I've lived here. And I've endured some property situations where somebody is urinating on my porch, pooping on my porch. He's broken my house 5, 6 times. I changed the lock. Now the guy lives right with me across on a vacant lot. Now the guy who lives across from me, the property is owned by a policeman who has to be an uncle, and his name is Officer White.
Well, you're talking
about... who's doing this, I really don't, I'm telling you, I have.
In Nashville? Are you in Nashville, Don?
Nashville,
okay.
Right off of First Avenue, right on H18 Shepherd Street. The officer owns the property.
And is it just an empty property? It's a lot? Is that what you're saying?
Property. The guy lives in a tent. He's homeless.
Yeah, so it's someone experiencing homeless.
His name is Charles White.
Okay.
And he is urinating on my porch. He's pooping on my porch. He's broken my house 5 times.
Have you called?
I got paper on this house.
Have you filed a police report?
Yes, I have. 4 or 5 times. This guy is broke, and he's still trying to break in my house.
All right, hang on. I know.
Last night he was pooping the porch.
I know you're emotional, and I don't blame you for being emotional. You're upset about this.
The police won't do nothing.
All right, hang on just a second. Let's hear, because it sounds like a violation of his property and a public nuisance. I don't know.
You're doing good. He's really doing good. And, you know, that's why we have the police. You don't want to take the law in your own hands.
Right.
And cooler heads do prevail. And perhaps you can get some photos, and perhaps you can take some video, and perhaps you can get a witness. They still say what's the best thing is the eyewitness, and they can charge. And if you keep going up the chain, perhaps you get a police officer and he won't do anything, then ask for a supervisor. We need some help.
Yeah.
And you can go and you keep pursuing, because that is a criminal trespass. You've told them not to come back again. And if they do, that is a crime. Yeah. So you have a right to sue him. Of course, this guy has nothing. Do you have a right to get a restraining order? Sure. But again, the police is your answer. And then you may have to put up a fence. There's all kinds of things that you're going to have to deal with. And this homeless problem is going to escalate. We do anticipate that.
Yeah, and let me ask you this. This gentleman may not have access to, the technology today, like a video doorbell and all of that. Like I have these wireless cameras and a video
Yes.
doorbell, and it's amazing. It's I can watch my dog, see what my dog's doing.
Yeah.
But that really has changed things in
Sure.
in law case. When someone says, "I didn't do that," and
Yeah.
then you just pull up your phone and said, "Oh, really?"
Oh,
Right?
really? I remember we had the guy there one time, and the police said, he said, "I didn't do it, I didn't do it." And I said, "Well," I told the police, he didn't do it. And the guy said, "Well, Kev, I got all his fingerprints on the inside." I'll never forget. I said, "Well, they claim they got your fingerprints all inside." He said, "Well, what do you want me to do now?" And I said, "Well, hello, come in. Well, we'll work this out." So the truth is that evidence will still matter, and the squeaky door does get the.
Right.
If you don't do something, it won't be done. I had someone run through one of my farm fences. Well, guess what? I'm waiting for somebody to pay me. No, you're going to have to actively pursue that guy's insurance, make a claim, and go. And if you don't, you get nothing. If you do nothing, you get what? Nothing.
That's right. That's right. And in this person's case, would it make sense maybe to grab a camera or any kind
Absolutely.
of anything, evidence you can get, take a picture, look, this is really happening, and I've got the evidence here.
And what I
move
like to
forward.
also say here, don't take the law in your own hands. Try and say, "I'm going to pull a gun, I'm going to shoot you." Don't do that.
No.
It'll escalate, and it'll be more trouble than you ever thought about.
The tough thing too, I would say, and I don't know if you talk to your clients about this, is, and you just heard Don, how emotion can get in the way
Yes.
of rational thinking.
That's what's going on, Rory. I think you said it even better than I said. Anxiety. It's
Did
the
you just
emotion.
say I said something better? Hold
Hey,
on a second.
he's
Mark
good,
the
but
day
he's
and time.
been there. It's
No.
real good.
No, I can't say anything better than you can say it. But it is true. The older you get and you look back and you realize, wow, emotion can blur, and then you end up making mistakes, like you said, that's
Yes.
just going to get you in deeper in the hole.
I love the old saying, cooler heads prevail. And so you should try to work on your family, because they'll lose their temper, and it's a mistake.
Right.
Men or women. And many times you call the police, the next thing you know, you're getting arrested. You said, "Hey, I was looking for help."
Wow. All right, Don, good luck to you. Get some evidence and some proof, and stick with the police there. I know you feel like maybe they're
come
not
on.
on your side, but the vast majority of folks want to help you out, and they will. So post-pandemic now, personal injury, I know your law firm focuses on
Yes.
that, but I mean, you've got a big team of people.
Yeah.
Are there, give me some ideas of the cases that you're seeing a lot of right now, and some of them where you just want to pull people aside and say, look.
Yes. Agitation, aggravation, irritation. You know what? It kind of reminds. I'm even in the court, so I'm taking care of my clients, but I'll see some people in the court, they are and I want to go up and say, "Sir, calm down. Will you step back?" And one of the signs, we'll see the judge look, and 3 officers will come around the podium. That is the prelude to something that is not good. So, and when the husband and wife get agitated, and when the children get agitated, it is explosive. They're going to call the police. Somebody's going to jail. Somebody's going to have to make, and you said, "Well, I don't have money for bond." Let me explain. I speak at schools all the time. I said, "Well, what happens if you get arrested and you go to jail and you don't have any money?" You stay in jail until somebody can come up with some money and make bond. We are seeing contempt of courts, civil contempt, yes. And the judge says, "Okay." He walks off the bench. The other lawyer stands there and says, "Lock him up." And the judge said, "Lock him up." So remember, the law is there for us to respect. It's good for you and I and this entire community. We must respect the courts. And without it, everybody would have these circumstances in their home, just like this gentleman has called us. It's lawlessness, it's anarchy. No one wants that.
All right, 737 plus, everybody, if you would like to call in and talk with Kevin Kennedy tonight. We got one of our callers still on hold. Hang on there. We're going to get your information so that we can talk further about your case. It's real sensitive stuff, but we want to be as sensitive as possible. All right, just thinking about last time I drove up to Clarksville and back, or you go any of the interstates around Nashville right now, and it seems like there's, first of all, construction everywhere because we're growing so fast.
Absolutely.
So there's number one hazard. And I didn't even think of this. You're talking about the sunset and the sunrise, and
oh man,
different areas, in different times of the year, how
Yes.
it can get right in your eyes. And I just noticed the other day how dirty the inside of my windshield is.
Come on, Rory.
When the light hits.
You
and
were
I'm
riding
thinking,
with Sarah.
I've got to spray. I'm thinking I got to clean that up because wow, I had no, because at certain times of day you don't see it. And all of these things add up now, and you've got caution and cone zones. You've got to be careful. If someone in front of you has to slam on their brakes, it is your responsibility to have enough distance to be able to hit those brakes and not hit that person.
Yep.
Which doesn't always happen, does
It's
it?
good. We're under the law to keep our vehicle under control. And if you don't, you take on civil liability.
Right.
So if someone walks around and they say, well, I didn't see him. This sun glare is a real, it's a problem for motorcycle riders. It's a problem for cars. You'll take the hill just in the
Boom.
right,
Yeah,
boom, it's on you. I didn't have my sunglasses, didn't have my sun visor down, and it is devastating. So I tell everybody in the spring and the fall that you have to watch so carefully. And that's why we handle so many motorcycle accidents, tons of motorcycle accidents. And you say, well, I didn't realize, and they're usually serious. So, I ride a motorcycle even now, and then the people that ride with, they say, I don't know if I want to ride with you, Ken. And so I still ride horses. And I said, well, what's more dangerous, a horse or a motorcycle? They said, the motorcycle. And I said, well, maybe not.
Depends on how you treat the horse.
That's good, Rory.
That's true.
That is true.
Well, seriously, get yourself a good pair of polarized sunglasses, clean that windshield. And, the other thing is that at the same time that we have all these distractions in the car and electronics, but we also have some amazing, technology that's going to remind you and remind you if you're drifting out of your lane or slowing you down, my cruise control adapter and all, which is great. But at the same time, it's still up to you, the driver. Isn't it?
I've had people and they said, Kev, nothing went off. I kind of and nothing went off. And I said, well, yes.
You can't rely.
You can't rely on that. And one guy backed into another with his new fancy car. He said, I never heard a beep. And I said, well, you hit them, and when you hit them, you bought it. You're going to have to pay for it.
That's right.
A lot of people don't even understand this. In Tennessee, you have some minimum limits of liability. I'm telling everybody, get your insurance policy out. Look at it. What are my limits of liability? And if you got a 25-50 plan, that means 25% if you run into if you hit a new Mercedes, 25 doesn't get it done. And you say, well, I've got insurance, my friend. The insurance company will pay the 25, and you personally, Rory, are on the hook from there out. I do have one other thing to say. If that were my situation and my insurance, I would hire my own personal lawyer. Why? Because your own personal lawyer, the insurance company is your friend up to that policy limit. And then after that policy limit, Rory, you're on your own.
That's right.
And the only friend you have is the lawyer that you choose. So I say take the proactive approach. If you had a car wreck tonight with a motorcycle, and it's clear everybody says it was the other people's fault, I'd still say, Rory, you contact me now, because we're going to go out and look at if we wait a year and then you get sued, the insurance company said, hey, don't worry, Rory, you're insured. Well, they miscalculated.
How frustrating is it when someone comes to you and they've waited?
Oh, good gracious.
You need to act quickly, right?
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So if it was your child, I'm telling you, Rory, come now. If it's Kevin Kennedy's child, I'm going to do what the lawyers. The guy's got 38 years experience, handle all these. What is he going to do for his child? We're going to move now. So I tell the world.
Yeah.
And okay, you say, well, that's why I've got insurance. I shouldn't have to do. I'm telling you, protect yourself all the time, and the insurance company has their agenda. Rory, you have your agenda. This lawyer, when you hire, Rory and I would be on the same team. That's our agenda. Get him out.
Hey, I've got the Kevin Kennedy hotline. Trust me. I hope I never have to use
Speed dial.
it. I hope I never have to use it.
I
but
know, it's true.
It's good that you've got someone who you can call up. Speaking of calls, we've got a few coming in. We appreciate it. We're going to take a quick break though to do a little bit of business, everybody. We will get right back to your phone calls. Time is ticking along here, so if you got a question, be sure to call in. Be right back.